So today I'm going to show you an ad style format that is blowing up right now, and not too many people are talking about it just yet. So if you pay attention to the next few minutes, you're going to understand what the style is, why it's working so well, and kind of what the future of marketing looks like. And with AI, how can we rapidly create and test different angles, especially now with post Andromeda update. So I'm going to show you that all today. So what we're going to do is simple. Number one, the way we start with this is obviously ideation. What do you want the scripting to be? What kind of style you're going for? Do you want this in the gym potentially? Do you want this on the street? Whatever the case may be, obviously environment and props are very important. Now, once that is established, you're going to start establishing your master image. Now, I've talked about this before. Master image is the first place you want to start. If you want to think about maybe potentially building a house, the foundation of that house, the concrete is super, super important. And that is your master image in this scenario. And so what you want to do is you want to really hone in and take some time creating your master image, because you have to remember eventually as you start using more of the image, and the longer you go using that same image, you're going to start getting worse and worse qualities. Once we have these two shots perfect, we're just going to come into here and we're going to animate the video. And for this, you can use a few different models. However, I would say Veo is probably the best model for it right now. And when it comes to creating this type of video, you want to use a few select models. Obviously, your best bet, or at least in my opinion, is probably Veo 3.1. The reason being, it's probably the top of its class. You have access to audio, you have access to multi-shot mode, which you're not going to use today, but you do have duration from 4 to 8 seconds. However, we are spending 58 credits, as we can see. Depending on how many credits you have, if you're trying to create, a minute plus ad of this kind of style, or just any style in general, you will be spending a lot of credits. Even if you look at Sora 2 Pro here, you can also use this model. We are at 60 credits. So you have to be careful, 89 credits at 12 seconds. You have to be careful of what you're using and how you're prompting it. So since it's 8 seconds, you can only really fit in so many words. So we're only gonna fit in like a few sentences. And then what we're gonna do is, since this is our master image, this is our starting frame, we're not gonna use an end frame today. However, we are going to create a prompt for it. So to ensure consistency across the board, what I'm actually gonna do is download this. Now, again, you can have a gem or a ChatGPT kind of help you with prompting. That helps a lot. So Claude already knows we're not gonna fit a whole paragraph in because it's only 8 seconds. Again, we're gonna mention how we got fit and everything that did not work. We can even add in a subtle way, whatever have you, but we're just gonna go with this. So we can see here, interviewer off camera, which is totally fine. What did you try before that didn't work, right? We can see, man, I tried keto, CrossFit, intermittent fasting, lost some weight, gained all back. My body just doesn't respond like it did 20 years ago. I need something designed for my age. All right, better. And again, you're gonna spend some time researching your angle, researching what resonates with your ICP, all that type of stuff. You can even use it in your projects and create these briefs as Stefan Georgi would suggest, right? You create your kind of your project, you have all your things in there, your research and all these other briefs. And then you can really create great hooks, angles, X, Y, and Z. But the most important part is just getting down the fact that we're not trying to hard sell our customer. Fly on the wall, listening to these people and their experiences with X, Y, and Z. So again, the prompting probably lacks, but I'm just trying to showcase how quickly we can actually do this and create your hooks and your angles. So as we see here, we're referencing interviewer, we're referencing man, and we have text overlay, right? We can have text overlay. For the sake of this, we're not gonna have any text overlay. We can just take that out. Sometimes you do have to kind of prompt no text, but I think this should be fine for now. And we're gonna see here if this is too much or too little. I think that looks good right now. So while that is generating, another thing we're going to do is you can potentially come back here, since we have another gentleman. You can generate as many people as possible. I can come in here and edit. Maybe instead of 2 blue shirts, maybe we want a individual with a white shirt. So all we're gonna say is just please change the speaker's blue shirt to a white shirt, keep everything else the same. And I'm just gonna generate 2 of those. I don't want everyone wearing a blue shirt. And again, you can, get people with a beard. You can get 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 55-year-olds, different ethnicity, different styles, whatever, again, resonates with your research. whatever you found to produce the best results, X, Y, and Z. You probably have data on that already. But again, you can see how quickly we can start just creating hooks, creating angles. And again, AI is going to do a lot of the research. And as you can see, AI is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. Let's take a listen.
What did you try before that didn't work?
Everything. Low carb diets made me miserable. Gym memberships I never used.
Those meal replacement shakes?
So again, what you're seeing here is quick iterations, right? And you're seeing that we can see here that it's not perfect, right? And AI is not perfect yet.
What did you try before that didn't work?
Everything.
Right? So he's kind of talking before she's asking him. But this here, I think probably second number 1 or 2,
Before that didn't work.
right here,
Everything. Low carb diets
perfect.
made me miserable. Gym memberships.
Is great. Perfect. We have this white shirt. Lovely. Again, I'm going to download, or we can just come over here. I know my head is in the way, but we're just going to go to video. Once we are in video, we're going to have this individual. And again, all we're going to do is download if we want. Just for consistency's sake, just drop it in so Claude can actually potentially mention the environment he's in, the shirt, and just to make sure the actual character is the same as the prompt. So let's just do this. Again, we're not going to focus too much on the script today. I'm only going to come in. You can come into video up here, or right, you can press video when you actually select the photo. We're going to drop it in, no text overlay. So I can actually just say it here, no text overlay. You don't need to. However, we can see here, honestly, I stopped overcomplicating it. Simple resistance training twice a week. Okay. You look incredible. What's your secret, right? That's great. Again, that's a great way to start it, right? You look incredible. What's your secret? Everyone wants to know secrets, especially when it comes to saturated markets or pain points that have been around, like fitness, right? Kling, let's just go to VO3. And then all we're going to do is keep it the same. Now, obviously with Sora, we can do a little more because it is 12 seconds, but we're just going to use VO today. So if I had a longer script and I wanted more of a body, I can do a few things. Number one, I can either go to ArcAds, which does give me more in length. However, it's a bit more expensive. So if I want to stay with VO, I can either get Flow, right? So I can either get Flow, that's native to Google. That's native to Google, or I can continue to do this process. Now this process, I would obviously just remove the interviewer because we already have the interviewer saying something. And if we're fine with that, perfect. And then I can just add more in to what he is saying. Now again, it's not gonna be perfect, but post-production, I can just kind of clip it together. And it makes for a great video, fly on the wall, sales process being hidden. Ultimately, your customers are gonna be wanting to know more about this product.
You look incredible. What's your secret?
Honestly, I stopped overcomplicating it. Simple resistance training, twice a week, eating.
You look incredible. What's your secret?
So again, not perfect. That's why if your bottleneck is credits, you have to make sure you're on the proper plan. You have to make sure your prompting is there. So when we edit, it's going to come to O1, which is just Kling's model. We're going to come into here. Now, given that it is 8 seconds, I think this might be a little too long. You'll start to get a feel for it. I've kind of found that maybe 2 to 3 sentences is pretty good. 12 seconds you can get obviously a lot more out of. However, honestly, I stopped overcomplicating it. Simple resistance training twice a week, eating real fruit, and actually getting enough protein. I think that's probably good. Again, we can test it. That's why you can potentially test with Kling first just to see if it works. And then you can kind of adapt it over to VO or whatever. Sometimes you do need a large batch of credits because it does take some time to get the proper prompting or proper shot that you're looking for. Now, what I didn't like is he actually looked at the camera. I don't want that to happen, right? I don't want him acknowledging the viewer at all. So let's kind of see what we can do. But as you can see, we are testing really quickly. This would cost a lot of money if you were just going to shoot this, with the team. You'd have to go to, obviously, to the location. You have to get kind of the model, or you can even just do this randomly by asking strangers. But it does cost a lot of money, right? You need the camera, you need the gear, you need the props, X, Y, and Z environment. And so it costs a lot, and it's very time intensive. So I'm just trying to really illustrate here that it's super, super quick. You can create hooks, you can create angles, and you can go and test them. As you can see, the quality is super sharp.
Everything. Low carb diets made me miserable. Gym memberships I never used.
Those meal replacement shakes? What did you...
Right, so obviously we do need to do a bit more prompting between person and interviewer, right? So we can obviously prompt for more of the person talking, or just having the interviewer say a few sentences and then having the person speak. But
You look incredible. What's your secret?
Honestly, I stopped overcomplicating it. Simple resistance training, twice a week.
another note with AI in its current form, when using these models, there's no room for interpretation. It has to be super, super specific. And when you're more specific, you essentially put on your own guardrails. And that allows the model to create what it's good at. AI can create great images, great videos. But you have to be super, super specific in what you are looking for. And again, you can ping pong this back and forth with Claude, ChatGPT, your GEMs, your GPTs, whatever it may be, because there's no room for interpretation with these models, because when they do interpret their own thing, obviously it's not what we're looking for. So for instance, what I would continue to do here is just get more actors, right? Maybe if we're doing a minute, we can get a few different actors, and then obviously we can come and make the videos. And like I said, if you're not in Flow, all you can do is just remove the prompt of the interviewer section and just create more of a body for that snippet or for that actor. And then you would have essentially a 40-second to a minute. Again, depending on how many credits you have, you want to choose your models wisely. That's why specificity wins. You can 100x your testing and results by just using AI to get the ball moving. But definitely try this style of ad out and you will see some good results. As always, I will see you tomorrow.